pack up all my care and woe. Here I go, winging low. Bye, bye, blackbird. Where somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, so is she. Bye, 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 blackbird. This used to be my favorite song. I felt like it said so many of the things I never had words for in my life. I grew up in the Bronx. People called me a tomboy, but I didn't care. I was a better athlete than cis boys my age. And when I played, I identified as an athlete, not as a girl who played or enjoyed sports. When I was out on the field, running the bases, or going long for a pass, I felt as free as a bird. I felt like me. I didn't concern myself with gender differences until my body began to change and I developed bumps on my chest. That's when these differences started to cause depression. And the reason why, I picked up alcohol. I had my first blackout at the age of 8. After puberty, I didn't feel free anymore. I felt trapped in a body that didn't belong to me and with people who couldn't see me to hide who I was. In 1981, I became a transit cop. I became one of the first female firefighters in New York City in 1982. I served out at Ground Zero during 9/11. I was good at my job, and I liked wearing the uniform. It let me hide my wings. It let me disappear. I wasn't a girl or a tomboy. I was one of the guys, but I wasn't. The men at the firehouse treated me differently. They told me they didn't want me there. For so long, I never felt at home anywhere. In 2014, I came out as transgender. I was tired of feeling trapped, tired of having to hide myself and of being afraid. I spread my wings and find I am becoming the person I was always meant to be. I was meant to be me.
There were very few times where I felt like I could just be myself. As much as it's always trying to be what everyone else wanted of me, I would slip up and forget myself at times. And my older brother was always there to pull me aside and let me know, everyone can see you, you know. Why do you have to be the most embarrassing one out of the entire family? I felt like everyone around me was trying to tell me that there was something different about me and that they didn't like it. So I started letting my mom pick out all of my clothes. They were brown and baggy. And I would disappear inside the cavernous spaces of my hoodies. And I embraced the tent of baggy pants that I was supposed to grow into. I thought if I could just hide underneath all these clothes, then no one would notice that I was nothing like them. I was always just trying so hard to make everybody else happy. By the time I got to middle school, I boxed myself up. When I got to high school, I even tried dating a girl. We should have just been best friends, but I was putting so much effort into presenting and being perceived as male that we got confused. We met because I complimented her on her manicure. We got very close, and I felt like I could tell her almost anything. I didn't have to be this stereotype of a cisgender Latino male, but I couldn't be completely myself either. It took us a very long time to be physically intimate. She wanted me, but there was something inside of me that was very uncomfortable with it. And for a year, I tried every excuse I could to get out of it, like any girl would. I don't feel well. I have a headache. It's getting really late and I have a curfew. I'm just really tired tonight. Eventually, I did lose my virginity to her, but just like with everything else, it was for someone else, not for me. I started coming out to some close friends and eventually my mother. My mom really did not take it well. But this was just the beginning of unpacking all the things that I had repressed for years. I could no longer deny the fact that I was attracted to men. But what I had been taught to hide for so long was my femininity. Years later, I was driving around one night and trying to figure out why I was so unsatisfied with my otherwise thriving dance career. Why did it bother me so much that I didn't get to be in the girl costumes or ever get cast in the all-female dance pieces? I thought out loud to myself, am I transgender? And immediately I needed to pull the car over and I just cried. It's like everything I had been shoving way down deep just came pouring out of me. Like I came bursting out of me. Many trans people have to come out more than once, and I'm no exception. Once as gay, and once as transgender. With each coming out, I feel like I've gotten closer and closer to who I really am, to who I've always been. That little Ariana that used to dance around with her cousin and lip sync to Brandy and Monica, make blanket dresses and find joy in secret moments of playing with Barbie. I never got to wear pink as a child, and I didn't really get to wear the female costumes on stage as an adult. But look at me now. I'm the girl who I was always meant to be, and everyone can see that. Everyone can see me. I threw myself a birthday party this year. It was a party for a younger Ari. The party she always wanted but never got to have. I smiled all day long. A Barbie brunch. Everything pink.
As a teenager, I had a leather jacket, Carrera jacket, and I had these Carrera sunglasses. I wanted to be like Steve McQueen. I wanted to be butch. And I went to a concert to see Heart back in the lace and velvet time, 1988. I made these beautiful navy blue velvet pants. I wore this gorgeous Indonesian printed shirt. Me and my friends had a blast. People were rocking out, doing their rock and roll in their t-shirt and jeans, but we didn't care. We had a great time, and we didn't care what anyone thought about it. That's how I always lived my life. In Pasadena at a restaurant, that was my runway. I would get dressed up and take my customers to their table, and I would strut my stuff. I love what fashion does. It draws people to you, it makes them happy, and it makes them enjoy what you're wearing, and I love that. That's me. When I worked in the fashion industry, I found out there was less gay people than I imagined. But that was okay. It made me want to raise my flag even higher. I just wanted to blow away all those stereotypes that they had. In my family, it was known, but not really talked about. Then one night, my father sat me down and he said to me, "I love you very much, but people may not understand about your lifestyle. So I want you to be very careful. Take care of yourself and be very watchful." And on another time, my mother wanted me and my partner, Marcio, to see this movie called In and Out. And afterwards, we're at home, and Marcio looks at me and he says in his Portuguese accent, "Isaac, I think she knows." Things that make me smile. Pan Pan, my cat, my VW van, and the smell of fresh coffee. Dancing. My father wrote a note to me, and it said, "Keep on dancing." And with that, I'm gonna keep on dancing. And I'm not gonna worry about what anybody else thinks.
In my house, girls wear dresses. Girls wear pink and frills and were little ladies. But I hated that. I didn't want to be that. I wanted to wear a black jumpsuit. I wanted to play with the boys. But my mama wanted me to wear dresses. I did it because it made my parents happy. I tried to be what they wanted me to be, but that still didn't make them happy. My stepfather would make fun of me. "Ay, eres una marimacha," he'd say. "You're a tomboy." These words were meant to boil under my skin, and they did, because I couldn't be the little girl they wanted me to be. I was something else. I started cutting when I was 12, all the things I didn't like about myself, my arms, my stomach, my thighs. It felt like it was my blade and I against the world, and when the blood came out, the pain followed. I would cut over and over again on my wounds, never letting myself heal. Cuts begin to look like stretch marks begin to look like cuts, rancid smells of a dying sunflower, petals brown, wrinkled, laying on the floor, disappointed. My abuelita asked me to stop doing it before she passed. "Por favor," she said, "do it for me." And I loved her so much that I agreed. She showed me that I could be loved just as I was, as she and they. Told me that nothing was wrong with me or bad. Our ancestors had been queer for thousands of years. So Chipili danced in a woman's dress with flowers in his hands, gazing up at Father Son, who shone blessings onto him. We met on a red bench. She told me I was who Mac Miller was thinking of when he wrote The Divine Feminine. We kept each other's secrets and kissed each other's hands. I came out to my parents at a poetry reading, because maybe sitting down at Mama's dinner table with guests and the Last Supper above my head was not the best place to tell her that I'm gay, but it's true. I can't lie in front of God. He knows me too well. She knows me too well. That night, she sent me to my room, told me I wasn't hungry anymore. I sat in my bed, crying, and the guests left. She came in, told me to get into the shower and wash all of it away, the feelings and thoughts, until they were all gone. I went into the shower, turned on the water, let it run over my body. When I came out, she asked me how I felt. "The same," I replied. She told me to get back in. I must have showered 3 times that night, but the water nor her could erase who I was. I eventually moved away, left my mother and my father. My brothers have been my greatest supporters. I've created a family of my own, one that doesn't care what I wear or who I kiss or what pronouns I use. I can wear whatever I want now, and I can be whoever I want. I am happier now because I know who I am. I am she, I am they, I am Xochipilli staring up at the sun, dancing in the warmth of his love. I will dance in the rain as daughter of arcoiris. The colors remind me that there is nothing wrong with me.
I was really into Riot Girl music as a teenager. I was inspired by the strength and independence of these women. I totally changed my style, donning edgy attire with ripped-up band shirts, boots, and ever-changing hair. My teenagers served as a canvas of self-expression, marked by Liberty spikes, pinwheel hairstyles, and a liberating first tattoo at 17. This wasn't just about external changes. For me, it was profound exploration of self-identity and empowerment. I yearned to be the Riot Girl on stage, proving that girls can conquer any challenge. In high school, I dated a boy. It seemed like the thing to do. One day, we kissed. And it was awful. It totally grossed me out. I vowed never to do that again. Soon after, I came out to my friend Oscar as bisexual. I was too nervous to say lesbian. But then I would tell Oscar about all of my crushes. The girls that fascinated me, the ones I wanted to pass notes to off in class, the ones I wanted to kiss, and the ones that I wanted to marry. It felt so powerful to live my truth, to be who I was. When I was 15, I came out to my mom, though I think she knew. See, my mom is deaf, so she's very observant. She doesn't miss anything. One day she had me watch a movie she rented from the library. It was a lesbian film. I thought, oh, I'm so embarrassed. She knew. Soon after, we had a conversation. She asked, "Do you like girls?" And I said, "Yes, I do." She asked, "So, are you bi?" I said, "I don't know. I guess." It's hard to tell your parents these things, especially your mom. Sometimes you don't have the words to say what you really want them to know. To explain the deep wandering recesses of desire and why I choose to love who I love. That when I imagine my wedding day, it's not a man across from me in a tuxedo, but a lady. A beautiful, amazing woman in a green dress. So my mom held on to the idea that I was bisexual for a while. Every time I brought a girlfriend home, she was always so warm and welcoming. Sometimes what rests in the silence is love. In ASL, this is how you say I love you. Sometimes you don't have the words to say how you really feel. And sometimes even when you do have the words, they don't capture what you really want to say. Love is one of those things. Getting married to the woman I love. We had our wedding and it was the best day of my life. I am making a home and building my own family.
Superman used to be my favorite superhero when I was a kid. I loved him. I wanted to be him. One year for my birthday, my tia, she bought the whole outfit for me. The suit and cape and boots. I put it on one day and I was a kid, so I thought I was Superman. I jumped off the couch thinking I'd fly, but I didn't fly. I just fell. Broke my nose. In my home, it seemed there never really was a place to fly free. Only places to break your nose. You see, in my Latino family, I never really fit the mold of what a boy should be, so my cousins and my tios, they used to try to toughen me up. They'd call it wrestling, but it was really just beating my ass. They'd get me in headlocks and hit me. They thought they were making me into a man. Sometimes I felt like they were just trying to kill me. My family, They used to throw around the word maricon like it was candy, and they were giving it away for free. I learned from a young age that it wasn't okay to be me. I loved to dance and be dramatic, but it wasn't what boys should do in my house. I wasn't tough enough, machismo enough. I had to hide who I was from my family and the world. You know, Superman had to hide. He had to pretend to be Clark Kent. He hid behind those glasses and a hat, but he was hiding the fact that he was a superhero, that he was someone special. I had to hide too, but I didn't feel like I was hiding something special about me. I felt like I was hiding something that I should be ashamed of. In 1994, I started working at Disneyland. The gayest place on earth, right? There were so many out gay people working at Disney that even though I wasn't out yet, it made me feel safe. It made me feel like I didn't have to worry about hiding. I made a group of friends really quickly. We just clicked. It was like the family I felt I never really had before. They were home to me. We were hanging out even when we wouldn't work. We did birthdays and holidays. We would go out dancing. And there were no broken noses with them. Only love and acceptance. And of course, churros. One day, my mom found my Frontiers magazine, a gay lifestyle magazine, and she confronted me about it. Marco, ¿qué es eso? She said, and threw the magazine at me. She was so angry and disappointed. She made an appointment for me to go see a Christian therapist. I went, even though I didn't really want to. The first part of the session seemed normal, I guess. Questions about my life, things I've been thinking about. But then, towards the end of the session, she took out this glove with the fingertips cut off. She told me to put it on, and then she attached these wires to the end of my fingertips. Será solo un pequeño zumbido, she said. It'll just be a little buzz, then a massage. She smiled at me and started showing me pictures of men, some of them without their shirts. And when I would look at them, it wasn't just a buzz that went through my hand. It was a shock. It was electricity, and it hurt. I told her that it hurt, and I told her to turn it down. But I think this bitch turned it up. It got to the point that I took the glove off and I told her I did not want to continue. I was so angry that I stormed out of the office and I went to go meet my mother at the car. I can't believe you made me do that. I'm not going back in there, I said. And I didn't. I left home. A few months later, I moved to Monterey, California. I started my life again. I think of that day as my Emancipation Day. I moved away from home. I made a new living in Monterey. I took dance classes. I got a job as an airline attendant. I flew all over the world and the country. I had always wanted to fly as a kid, like Superman, and now I was doing it. I was so good at my job, it put me in first class. But then I got laid off. I ran out of money, had nowhere to go, so I had to move back home. I was filled with this heaviness in my body as I returned. All the lightness from the last several years just drained from me. One night when I moved back, I went out with my friends to Ripples. I got drunk. I mean, really drunk. I got so drunk that I really don't remember a lot of this, but apparently I wrote a letter. A suicide letter. I told my friends and family goodbye. I walked to a bridge and jumped. I was flying again. To my freedom, I thought. To a place where all this pain didn't exist. I hit the water, but I didn't die. I lived. My body was stronger than my pain. Maybe there is a little bit of Superman in me, after all. I got my master's degree. I've been accepted to a doctorate's program, and I teach dance at a university now. My Disney friends, they check in on me every day. They text me to see how I'm doing. They call me to tell me they love me. They've done things for me that my family never did. I don't need to be Superman. I just need to be me. I'm not quite ready to fly again, but I know where I'm headed. Not to my ending, but to a new beginning. To a new home where I'll be safe and free. Loving.
Strong.
Fabulous.
Mesmerizing.
Powerful.
Perfect. You.